for your play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You got it locked in the line change. A Vancouver Canucks podcast.
The NHL trade deadline is less than 7 days away. And while we're all, been focused on the usual suspects when it comes to an Elias Pettersson trade, the Sheet's Jeff Marek goes and drops a bombshell on Friday that changes everything. We're talking about a new potential destination that almost nobody saw coming, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How does a team with Pittsburgh's veteran core take on a struggling superstar with an $11.6 million cap hit? Now, the answer, it lies in the mind of Kyle Dubas. We know Dubas has a history of betting on reclamation projects, which are talented players who have just simply lost their way and need a fresh start. If he views Pettersson not as an overpaid liability, but as the ultimate undervalued asset, we could be looking at one of the biggest blockbuster trades potentially in Penguins history. Now, today we're doing a deep dive into the Marek proposal. We'll look at the specific trade chips involved. We'll look at the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds connection that drives Dubas's decision-making, and whether this is the only way the Canucks can finally move on and off from that $92 million problem. Let's look at the reality of the situation first, though. I'm going to pull up a graphic here, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to compare PD's 102-point season to this season. Now, 2 years ago, of course, PD was a 100-point guy. He had 39 goals, 63 assists, 102 points in 80 games played. He was a plus 16, and he had a shooting percentage of 15.2. Now, he's sitting at 35 points through 51 games. His production has been cut in half. So 13 goals, 22 assists. He's a minus 18, and his shooting percentage has dipped and is now at a 14.3% this season. Not to mention, since that 100-point season, his cap hit obviously has jumped to $11.6 million. That contract significantly limits who can even pick up the phone if there is no retention. And from what Jim Rutherford said in that interview, it doesn't sound like the Canucks are all that thrilled or entertained by the idea of retaining on PD's contract at all. At least that's what I got from the interview with John Shannon anyway. Now, we've heard Carolina thrown out there. We've heard Detroit thrown out there. We've heard LA. We've even heard Utah thrown out there as well. But Pittsburgh is the new wild card. Now, with the Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin connection to their old team, the pipeline, it's already there. For the Canucks, this isn't just about moving a player. It's about escaping a contract that could very well handicap the franchise for the next 6 years if PD doesn't turn things around. And if he has another season like last year or this year over the next couple of years. Now, if PD does not get back to being that 100-point player, or at least close to it, so we'll just go ahead and say if he can't get to at least minimum 70 to 85 points going forward, that's just bad news for the Canucks. Now, Jeff Marek really doubled down on the idea that Kyle Dubas loves a reclamation project. We talked about it earlier. He pointed back to Dubas hiring Sheldon Keefe for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and his recent moves for guys like Anthony Mantha or Yegor Chenikov as reclamation projects. Now, Dubas doesn't see a failing player. He sees distressed assets. Now, on this channel, we've seen your comments. Many of you are frustrated that PD has lost his edge or that the Vancouver media pressure is just too much for him. In Pittsburgh, the spotlight is shared. It's not all on one person, although you could make the argument that all that spotlight is on Sidney Crosby. Now, you could also say it's on Crosby or rather it's shared between Crosby and Malkin, and then maybe even you can throw Letang in there too. But we'll get to Gino in just a sec. But if Dubas thinks he can fix PD's game, he's getting a 27-year-old superstar at what might be his lowest possible trade value. So what's the price? Well, Marek floated a package of William Horkov, who is the son of former NHLer Sean Horkov and former Edmonton Oiler. Let's actually bring up Horkov's bio real quick, just so you guys can get a look at who he is. He is a center, 6'5", 203 pounds. He is a left-handed shot from Birmingham, Mississippi, USA. He's 19 years old, and he is the type of player he is a net front presence, a physical forward, and a two-way center. Now let's take a quick look at his stats. As you can see here, he has 35 points in 34 games in the NCAA this season with the University of Michigan. He did play in the World Juniors, only managing 2 points in 5 games, but obviously what leaps out to you is probably that 35 points in 34 games with the NCAA. It's looking pretty good, not to mention he's a big body too. Oh, and he was the 24th overall pick in the 2025 draft as well. Marek also throws out Samuel Girard, who was actually just acquired by Pittsburgh in a trade with the Colorado Avalanche right after the Olympic freeze ended. He also throws in Tommy Novak, who's also a center, and 2 second-round picks. Technically, you'd be getting a first-round pick in Horkov. You'd be getting a veteran defenseman who has a lot of playoff experience. And we're talking about Samuel Girard here, who has over 60 playoff games to be exact in his career, which is a lot. Also, you get a highly skilled playmaking center in Tommy Novak, who also has first-rate hockey sense and puck handling ability. And as you can see here, Novak has very similar stats to Elias Pettersson. He has 32 points in 58 games. So obviously he's played more games than PD has this year, 12 goals, 20 assists, but their stats are fairly similar. Not to mention Novak is a left-handed shot as well, and he is a year older than Pettersson. But the question is that enough? If you're a Canucks fan, you might be screaming that it's just not enough for PD, but you are getting 5 assets in return. But if you're looking at the $11.6 million cap hit, some of you in the comments are saying, well, ship him for anything at this point. Just get rid of him. Now, here's the ultimate debate. Do you sell low to get the cap space, or do you hold and do you pray for a rebound? Now, this package, it does give Vancouver roster depth and draft capital to immediately retool around the rest of the core, as well as help establish a new core as well. We talked about it a little bit on the postgame show last night. Trading Elias Pettersson is the final piece to the Canucks actually embracing a full rebuild. Basically, what I'm saying is the Canucks trade Pettersson, that shows the fans that they are committed to this rebuild. Because as long as you keep Pettersson, yeah, you could still say, basically, in my opinion, if they keep Pettersson, it's going to be a hybrid rebuild. You trade Pettersson, it will be a full rebuild. Now, this whole deal, of course, I mentioned him earlier. This whole deal, it's predicated on one major thing. Gino, Evgeny Malkin. Now, if Malkin isn't returning, and now, hold on, I know Malkin has made it known that he does want to come back and has no desire to play for another team. But just for the sake of arguments and for this video, if he does retire, Pittsburgh has a massive hole at center and the cap space to fill it. Now, Pettersson fits that win now window while also providing long-term future, especially if Crosby himself decides to retire, at least anytime soon. Although, honestly, I see Crosby playing into his mid-40s at this point, just because it's Sidney Crosby, man. The guy doesn't age, and the guy is a freaking machine. But I will admit, it is a gamble that changes quite possibly the trajectory of both franchises. We're looking at whether PD's style actually meshes with the Penguins' systems, or if this is just smoke and mirrors at this point and pure trade speculation. Now, of course, the clock is ticking. This upcoming Friday, is Pittsburgh the dark horse that pulls this off? Or is this just trade deadline noise, as we just said? Drop your trade grades in the comments. Would you take the Marek deal? Give me a yes or a no in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the line change, and be sure to have your notifications turned on so you don't miss more in-depth analysis of your Vancouver Canucks. Now, let's go ahead and check out some betting odds, shall we? So, right now, we are going to look at the Calgary Flames and the Anaheim Ducks for later today at about 10 after 5. And we're going to look at the parlays here. So, the Calgary Flames are at an over 6.5, a plus 390. Flames are a under 6.5 at a plus 320, while the Anaheim Ducks are at an over 6.5 at plus 195, and the Anaheim Ducks are at an under of plus 185. So, I'm going to go with the over for the Anaheim Ducks at plus 195. That is my bet for that. And speaking of bets, I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to my sponsor, DraftKings, who are sponsoring this video. You guys can check, and they are, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Now, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to once again smash that like button and subscribe to the Line Change for more daily coverage as we continue to count down towards the trade deadline. Once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next Line Change.